What's up, everyone? It's Jay Ray, the co-host of Q Points, and one really important way that you can support our show is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. One of those places where you can subscribe, and we highly encourage it, is on Apple Podcasts. If you visit qpnt.net/Apple Podcasts. You could subscribe to the show and listen to all of the episodes. And please, please, please leave us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points, and leave us a review. We really want to hear from you, and it helps to spread the word about the show. It's that simple. Thanks so much for tuning into Q Points, and thank you so much for supporting us. Have a great one.
So everybody, right? It's Sir Daniel's birthday weekend. So we is celebrating we're just going to say happy birthday, Sir Daniel. So whenever folks watch this, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Listen, today was almost one, but then I had to center myself and then remember that just had to be remembered all the things that I'm grateful for. And being able to celebrate another birthday is definitely something to be grateful for, especially after, this year of loss. What's up, Maurice? What's going on? Yes, thank you. Shout out to all them Virgos. And you got a bunch of Virgos in your life, so I know you know what it's about. And I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful that you survived the storm. Shout out to everybody, all my friends and family in the tri-state area and Pennsylvania. Ida is no joke.
Let me tell you something. So thank God in Chester, we were very good. You know what I'm saying? Now that rain was looking real crazy yesterday, but the Delaware River down here didn't do what it's been doing. Philly, the Philly 76 is underwater. The highway, I would drive that into the city. There is no driving that into the city. I've never seen that before.
It looks really apocalyptic, and just the footage of in New York, all the water in the streets, and I can't imagine how nasty that water is in the subways. And
no.
I saw a picture. I saw footage of people walking in the rain in the water with their umbrellas, and somebody was delivering food. It just looked weird. It was really crazy looking. But again, I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for all of you that are watching right now. Thank you very much, Yvette. And shout out to your mom. She's in the Virgo gang, Virgo gang. And I'm just very thankful to everybody for being here.
Yeah.
That, in spite of everything that has happened. But as Jay Ray said, tomorrow is my birthday. I'm very excited about it. And you know who else's birthday is going to be?
I wonder who else's birthday is going to be.
Listen, it's the one and only Beyonce. I had to say her name, Beyonce.
Beyonce.
She's actually the day after, September 4th. But so earlier this week, I was just thinking out loud, and I tweeted out loud. I just wondered, will Beyonce, now that she's stepping into 40, yes, kids, Beyonce is about to be 40. Now that she's stepping into 40, I wonder, is she going to fall victim to the same type of ageism that her predecessors have experienced, including her husband?
Yeah.
Because, people used to, like her fans, as a matter of fact, would give Jay-Z a lot of guff, a lot of shit because he's older, and they say he ruins like her performances and things of that nature because he's the old guy up there rapping. But I'm just wondering if her fan base is going to be as fervent about protecting her and supporting her now that she's going into now that she's going, you know what, Keys, you's a mess. Keys is a mess. Leave it to Keys to make me break out in laughter. But no, seriously, I wonder if they're going to protect her with as much fervor as other fan bases protect like the younger generation.
You know, I what I think is dope, I'm actually excited to see, and we talked about this, I think 2 shows ago. I'm really excited to see how Beyonce navigates her 40s. And the reason why I'm really interested in this is because I feel like she has really changed she's revolutionized, I think, the way sometimes women are seen, in particular Black women. And I feel like she has an opportunity I feel like she's just going to write her own way through this in a way that we may not have seen before. At least that's what I anticipated from reading the interview that she did, right? Kind of led to that, where it's like, I think she'll just kind of navigate this in her own way. And quite frankly, she's Beyonce. She is the biggest pop star in the world. And she is at that point where she can kind of do whatever she wants. And I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like for the 40s version of Beyonce.
I would agree. What Beyonce has going in her favor is that her fan base grew up with her.
Yes.
Unlike, say a Tina Turner, who really hit her stride at 46, 45. And, people had to kind of warm up to her. When I think about it, Beyonce, her fan base grew up with her since Girls' Time.
Yep.
And of course, Destiny's Child. So they in turn have matured along with her. So I think that's in her favor. But absolutely, looking forward to seeing, Beyonce behind the piano in the dimly lit club, those kind of things. That would be really interesting to see. Or if she she's already kind of on that path, but taking like the Sade route.
Yeah.
We don't see her for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then she emerges,
Absolutely.
drops something, and then hits it again. So as you said, I really think she's really going to write her own kind of check from this point, which she has already been doing for all intents and purposes.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Matthew and Donald, also Virgo gang. Donald is the first, Matthew is today the second, I'm next. It's like a little Virgo train we got going on. So absolutely. And thank you. Shout out to Keys and Maurice and Yvette all in the chat room right now. Going all with us. And this is going to be a weird segue.
I don't think there is for our show. I don't know that there is a real good segue into this topic.
Well, we're talking about, first of all, can we talk about your newfound love for Jocelyn Hernandez? Since we're talking about birthdays, because I'm gonna do it like it's my B-day.
Okay, so yesterday I stumbled on this because I didn't know that this was out, but my YouTube felt like it was something I needed to see, and it was like Jocelyn. I was like, let me just hit play. And I was like, oh. Listen, at this point, so Jocelyn has a new song out. I only remember the hook because she says it like 3 gajillion times, and it's "Do It Like It's My B-Day." But that ain't the name of it. It was like it's your B-Day, or
it's "Do It Like It's My Bidet."
Bidet. Hit it like a bidet, but it's like B-Day, but it's like a bidet. It's very weird, but it's Jocelyn. She's got a horse in there. It's a lot of horses, actually. There's like a mechanical horse, and there's like an animal horse. And I was like, oh, okay.
A lot of ass and titties,
A lot of it.
Which never fails. So, shout out to Jocelyn. All of her fantasies are being fulfilled right now. So, you know, so since we're on the topic of birthdays, I think I found a way to segue.
Okay.
You can't have a birthday without cake.
You can't have a birthday without cake. And we talked about Jocelyn, and Jocelyn had a lot of cake in the video. So this makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. Jocelyn is from Miami. And we can't talk cakes in Miami without talking about, guess who? Trick Daddy. You like that?
See how you did that. You did.
Thank you. I did that.
You did it like it's your birthday.
You listen. Hey, I promise y'all I'm not tipsy. This is just pomegranate juice. I just put it in a glass to be fancy. But we finna have fun tonight.
Yes.
So early, of course, the viral video of the week, it was definitely Trick Daddy Dollars on being a guest on the Drink Champ show with Nori. Yeah. And the topic of cunnilingus came up.
Absolutely.
And talking gang, ain't no gang like the EBD gang, the Eat the Booty gang. So we have a clip, right?
We got a clip. And so I'm going to play the clip, but I also found the historical version of the clip. So I'm going to play both clips.
Bet.
And then we going to talk about it. Hold on.
Talk about cake.
We going to talk about cake. All right.
Yeah. So is Eat Booty Gang still in effect? Well, I started, I built, I created a franchise. So it's the Eat a Booty Gang. I'm building a franchise up now. Now I'm getting the women to support the Eat a Booty Gang. Oh, wait. Who's it? When you say women to support the Eat Booty Gang, you're saying women is eating the booty?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
What get trick?
Listen, you don't have your legs in the air though.
It depends. We don't need to think about it.
A union.
So this is the history.
Sway, where she said that she eats Dwayne Wade's booty. You heard about that?
Praise God. Praise God.
Trick consistent.
And she, she wasn't ashamed.
Man, praise God. Praise God. I respect Dwayne Wade, and I actually met Gabrielle years before I ever met Wade. Both of them are wonderful people.
Listen, I mean, Daddy.
Trick Daddy Dollars. Listen, so I'm of the firm belief, and I'm trying not to make too many butt puns.
Make all the butt puns you want, because we can't actually say other words because we're on Facebook.
I'm a firm believer in exploring all kinds of sexual activity between consenting adults. Now, I think what happened is, and I'm talking to all y'all out there, not just singling out, I think all of y'all, because of what Trick Daddy looks like now that the lupus has, taken over his body, and, he's got the gold teeth, and he's probably not as attractive to a lot of different people because of the way he looks. And so I think it's that thing where people are always projecting, if somebody that doesn't look classically beautiful or handsome makes these kind of declarations about their sexuality and about things that they enjoy sexually, the immediate reaction is, ew, not you.
Yeah.
Not Trick wanting to get eat out. Ew.
Yes.
And now, granted, in recent years, Trick has made it hard to kind of defend him on these things.
He has.
But it could have been a great moment to open up that discussion about men and their sexuality. Because I think a lot of men are scared to admit those types of things that they enjoy sexually. And so now Trick has made it easy, but now everybody else is like, Trick Daddy said it. I don't want to, I don't even want to think about it. And so now all the people that enjoy getting their salad tossed, are going to revert back into the closet, because now everybody's like, ew, dudes are talking about getting having their salads tossed.
Listen, listen, I'm going to get up on I'm going to walk up on my soapbox. I'm going to walk up on my J-Ray soapbox, and I'm going to stay here for a hot minute. And listen, shout out to Trick Daddy for opening the door, to your point, Sir Daniel, for this conversation to be had. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's interesting, right? So we need to free men, particularly straight identified men, from the confines of what they can enjoy sexually. Because listen, patriarchy is all over that. And these dudes don't know what to do. And Trick Daddy said it right there. He was like, listen, like, this is a thing. Well, actually, if you listen further into the original clip when he was wearing the yellow, he was just like, listen, two consenting adults should be able to do whatever it is that they want to do if it makes them happy. And I live there. Listen, I want us to free cis hetero men from these boxes that we...
No pun intended.
No pun... I want us to free cis hetero men from these boxes that they get put in around sexuality, because it ain't fun. So I'm happy that Trick felt comfortable enough to say this in front of a bunch of dudes on Drink Champs. This is a very dude show. Like, there's alcohol involved, there's dudes everywhere. So just that he felt comfortable saying it, and just that he feels comfortable having this conversation and this dialogue. So I'm hoping that brothers take this to the next step and just be like, we need to talk about this more for those cis hetero men, for the women in their lives. This is a conversation that needs to be had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Who would have thought that when we started this show, we would be talking about Trick Daddy getting his box rocked? But this is Q Point.
Listen, we talking about the culture. This is what's happening right now.
We're on it, and we're not afraid to go there, and neither is Trick Daddy. So I am going to lean on you for this next topic, because so Donda was finally released, right?
Donda's out.
And Donda is finally released after, being taken on tour from arena to arena. And I'm just like, here's my thing. I'm at a point where I honestly do not care. I feel as if I'm turned off by the manipulation. I'm turned off by the antics, and it's not just Kanye. There's like a generation of a lot of people doing things outside of actually making music and becoming famous for other than their music.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a marketing point. Everything is marketing. Everything is about, getting views and clickbait. And I'm just to the point now where music has to bring me joy. And none of this stuff, the antics, none of this stuff has brought me joy. It didn't help his tirades last year in 2020 during the presidential campaigns, all the distractions that he made on national television, that, saying that he was running for president. And it's just too much. And so the best thing about everything about this world is that we all have a choice.
Yes.
And I know I look on my timeline day to day, and I see a lot of people having these very heated conversations and having these very polarizing views on people like Kanye and his projects. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't have a dog in that fight. The music just doesn't bring me joy. The artist doesn't bring me joy. So I'm going to let y'all have that. If you enjoy it, so be it. But I think even as a DJ, it's kind of sad where I'm just like, I'm not interested. But if somebody were to tell me, hey, like, this is a single that needs to be played, at parties and whatnot, then I might take a listen. But as far as me, the consumer, as me, a lover of hip hop and music in general, it's a big meh for me. I'm just like, enjoy. You guys enjoy it. Matter of fact, J. Ray, you are about to write an article, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I am. Yeah. I'm working on the piece now. So full disclosure, and this was not on the list of things for me to do. I did listen to Donda. I listened to Donda.
All right.
And I don't really have opinions on the record. Was really so. I do have opinion. That's not true. I do have opinions on the record. I'm not going to go into all of them here because I think it's just too much and it's too complicated. But I will say this. I think I'm with you, Sir Daniel, and the reason why I did not anticipate listening to it was because it's just all of this is too much. So actually behind us right now, you could see kind of the come to life video from Kanye came out today. I think it's already got 1 million views on YouTube. And it's essentially, an excerpt from the Chicago listening party that also had Marilyn Manson and the baby there. Whole other conversation. But this is the reason why I think I went into this listening experience actually having to decide that I was listening from more of a kind of just wanted to be able to talk about it if people asked me about it, and I didn't want to be like completely out of the loop. So here's the deal. I checked it out. It doesn't bring me joy. I described it best as that record to me is like being in the inside of someone's mind that I don't want to be in. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I was in this kind of space because I don't live in that world and I don't live with kind of the way that Kanye is processing the world. Mm-hmm. It didn't appeal to me. And it's extremely dark in there. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, it's extremely dark. Even looking at the visuals, right, of Kanye kind of setting himself ablaze, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. In a replica of his childhood home. I think this is actually a perfect example of what it kind of feels like being inside of the album. For 23 tracks, and then there's 4 part 2s, right? So it's a very long experience. Yeah. So I will say that at this point, Kanye hasn't been a full-time musician in a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has been probably a solid decade since Kanye was doing what Kanye did. We're kind of talking about like my dark twisted fantasy era, is when Kanye was the last time it was a Kanye album in so many respects. And then it became kind of everybody's on the record. Like, the amount of collaborators on this album for a rap record is like, wow, this is a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, involved in the stew of this. So is this, has anybody in the chat, who else has checked out Donda? I'm curious if anybody has listened to it. Are there things that jumped out at you that are interesting? I, like you, had to make a conscious choice to, Kanye has done so much harm over the last 5 years, really longer, but over the last 5 years, if we're going to concentrate it, that it was very hard. And I had to actually say, my one stream has probably made him like 25 cents. So I'm okay. I think he made 25 cents off of me, and that's all I'm going to give him.
Yeah, I think this whole venture for fame, has taken him to different limits. I guess that he didn't expect.
I would imagine. I would imagine
his whole life became a circus, and I think what I don't appreciate, and what a lot of people, I'll say this: a lot of people have zoomed in on the fact that he has used his mother as a means of softening his image, and I guess it's just a manipulation of trying to get people to forget the fact that I've said some very disparaging things about Black people, about the culture, about society in general, and that I've pretty much been focusing on looking through this lens as a very rich person without any kind of trying to have any kind of understanding. And it just seems like it's a very manipulative thing to use the death of your mother to invite us into this world. I can't, he's an artist, we can't police we can't police his content. And, that's what he wanted to use. But thank God, as a consumer, I get to say, you know what? I'm gonna pass on that. That's that. If you enjoy it, fine. But I don't know. It's just beginning to be a bit much. And I don't know. Hopefully, musicians that are just really about the music and wanted to get out there, I think it's making it harder for them.
I agree. Like there is, and I didn't even realize we were at this place, but I kind of think, I think Beyonce in so many ways kind of up the ante in terms of how people can roll out a project. Because when we think about 2013 and when the Beyonce record came out, we had never seen anything like it. Now she had been priming this pump for albums before, because I think it was the I Am Sasha Fierce, where so many of those songs had videos. Like it was kind of the first time in kind of modern culture that we saw that. So I think, that, Beyonce being a rule breaker once again, and also surprising people with a record and then having a video for all of it. And then Lemonade being kind of another version of that, kind of gave artists with the means, permission to roll out a project in that way. And even artists that are just creative, the means to take an interesting rollout of a project. I think of DDM and the rollout of the Ballad of Omar, where DDM did the live performance, which was so great to me. During a pandemic, you get to watch this person interpret the record live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think okay, so let me take a step back. I don't know that I'm hoping that if anything comes out of this Donda rollout, it is that artists feel like they have permission to kind of stretch and explore. Like, I feel like I'm hoping that people take that away from this. And that's putting aside Kanye's actual, his actual, being Kanye and all of the antics around it.
Yeah.
But at least saying, okay, this is an interesting way to get the word out about my project. So now you have Drake putting up billboards in cities, where people who are, collaborating on his album live, so that they can know that it's coming out. Drake and Beyonce and Kanye, they have a ton of money.
Yes.
They can do whatever they want, and people will be happy to sell them billboards and airtime and apparently stadiums to live in. If you got the money, you can do that. So I am hoping that other artists really do take from this, that try something new, and be okay with it. Don't harm people. Don't harm people.
It's probably not a good idea to say that you're going to run for president before you roll out an album. Yeah, it's just not a good thing. It's not the right climate for it. I do think it's also interesting how it'll be interesting to see what it looks like for artists moving forward that want to do collaborations with other artists. What they're going to do to kind of safety pin the fact that they're going to appear on the album. Or can you even do that? Because you've got Soulja Boy, who is highly upset because his verse is taken off the album, and apparently he put out there all these texts that Kanye begged. They had this long conversation, and the album, he's gonna be on the album, and he rushed and did his verse. And he's not the only artist that happened to. There's several people that got left off the album, and so it's just going to be interesting to see how artists take collaborations from here on out in the nearby future.
I mean, I think if there's another artist that's kind of been talking about this recently, it's Nicki Minaj. Like Nicki recently has been talking about hey, here's why I haven't, collaborated with as many women as of late, and kind of explaining her side of the story. And I do feel like at the level that these artists are at, it's interesting that we are in this time though, because like before, you would be surprised when somebody appeared on like an album. Like it would be like, oh, so and so is featured. Unless they were on the first single, you didn't know what the next singles were going to be. So you didn't know who was on the record until the record came out. And it would be featuring so and so. And now the features, well, one, because Donda, like I said, it has a gajillion collaborators, and there's like a featured person on every song. So the collaborators, I guess, become as much a part of the album as the top billed artist itself. And that's interesting. We'll see what Kendrick Lamar does. I know that Kendrick looks like he's priming the pump to come out. And I know that Kendrick always takes an interesting approach.
He does.
Yeah.
He does without, insulting people's intelligence or, a lot of dog and pony show antics, so I appreciate that about Kendrick, and we'll be looking forward to that.
Yep.
But, Donde Este album, it's here. So again, enjoy the album. So Anthony.
Yep. That's my cuz.
What's up, cuz? So Anthony is asking, do you think it's become sort of a political to appear on a collaboration?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that I think that's actually always been true in so many ways. I do think that more so because music moves the way that it moves now. I definitely believe that artists pick certain artists based on their popularity and kind of what they can get them into. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, I do think it's political. I think it's always been political, but I think now if you're at a certain level or trying to get to a certain level, which is what Nicki was speaking to about why she doesn't collaborate with as many women as she has, is because she felt like people would use her and then leave her behind. And I think that's real. And because everybody's about their business and they trying to get their thing.
Look at Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown is a prime example of what Nicki said, because let's be honest, a lot of people who are billionaires now use Foxy Brown as a vehicle to get to the top. And there they go.
Look at what happened.
When we talk about political moves, somebody brought to my attention the Not Tonight remix with Lil' Kim.
Yep.
And how they said I've heard people say that putting Angie Martinez on the lineup was a political move because Angie, Angie was Angie was the voice of hip hop. Angie is the voice of hip hop.
Yep.
So why not? And apparently Angie, I don't know if the record deal came before or after her appearance on Ladies Night, but Angie Martinez was definitely everywhere at that time. And that was, definitely, it was a smart move, though. It was smart. It worked. And it endeared Angie to us for over 2 decades now.
And listen, so it's funny, like we're having this conversation, and Sir Daniel, I sent you the interview that Questlove did with Lady B, which is amazing. You're going to lose your mind when you hear it. But Lady B specifically talked about the fact that what's his name, Joe Robinson, I think it's Sylvia Robinson's husband from Sugar Hill Records, talked about how he got her out of a crazy record deal and re-released her song and paid her. But she also reflected on that was political for him though, because I was on the radio. You know what I'm saying? So I was also playing his records. So him getting me out of that situation endeared me to him. And I was also playing his music. So it was like a lot of one hand washing the other.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wow. So, yeah. Well, thank you for that, Anthony. That was a great question. We appreciate that. So, as we draw near to the end of the show, just announced today a new Versus
Yeah.
Ja Rule versus Fat Joe.
Interesting. This one's interesting.
It makes sense.
You think?
It makes sense. Am I as excited as I was for the lots? And
Upset?
Dipset? Not so much. But Fat Joe and Ja Rule, like there was a moment in the early 2000s when Fat Joe and Ja Rule were definitely running parallel when it came to radio hits. So we're gonna see a lot of Ashanti showing up in in the verses.
Yes.
Because they both shared a lot of Ashanti background vocals.
Exactly.
And yeah. Now, Fat Joe does have a lot more time in the game than Ja Rule.
That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like, because I mean, he's a solid 5-6 years in,
94.
94. Yeah. So like 5. So not that far, but far enough. So I found it interesting. I'm interested to see how this one pans out. Even though I know that they were on the charts at the same time, and maybe it's just the way I view Ja Rule. I view Ja Rule as very much kind of a pop commercial artist. And I see Fat Joe dipping his toe into that area, but also kind of having the street stuff too. So I'm interested to see what choices they end up making to pull this off. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because Joe is definitely going to have a lot of like boom bap.
Yes.
Cuts for the heads, the 40 and up heads that have been rocking with him since, his Flow days. And so, and whereas Ja Rule, he talked greasy and gangster and whatnot. He was part of Murder Inc. But to your point, all of his hits were like super, were very pop oriented hip hop records.
Yes.
And there was nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with it at all, but it's just going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And now what I do think is interesting is that both of them have what they do have in common, besides Ashanti, is having beef with 50 Cent.
Yeah. That's probably going to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to watch it because we have to talk. I'm sure we'll want to talk about it at a few points. So I'll watch it. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what happens. And you know what's interesting, I think, about both of these artists? I've never seen either one of them live. So I never saw Ja Rule live. I've never seen Fat Joe live. So
you didn't have a ticket to Fire Fest?
You know what? My ticket to Fire Festival, I was going to get it on like the last day. And then I started seeing all the tweets and I was like, I'm going to put my $2,000 back in my pocket and just not go.
Because you have that kind of cash to spend. Absolutely. Is there, and this has been a topic that has been discussed a lot already, but is there a versus that you have in mind? Something that nobody has thought of yet?
Is there a versus that I have in mind? You know what? I think there definitely needs to be a Salt and Pepper and somebody versus. I don't know who the somebody is. That's the hard part because they kind of sit in a very specific.
Yeah, and coming from a diehard Salt and Pepper fan, I've thought about that, and I think that would be very hard. That would be very hard to pull off because it would probably end up being a music group that has kind of matched their chart success.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And the only people that I could think of would be a TLC, and that would be kind of weird. It would be a little weird. It would be kind of weird, especially now that they're both down to duos. I don't know. It might work.
But seeing somebody would be interesting too. I don't know who.
Yeah. But so now I'm thinking about it. I think it would be interesting to do something like a Juice Crew versus Native Tongues.
Wow. Wowza. Like, oh my God.
that would be kind of interesting, because you got Juice Crew, you got Big Daddy Kane, They could rep for Bismarcky. You got
Master
Kid,
A's catalog is so deep.
Master Ace, Cool G Rap. I mean, logistically, it might be kind of weird.
3,000.
3,000 of them. Queen Latifah, if she was available, Molly Love, you know.
Queen Latifah is like, Queen Latifah might be, she'll send in a video. She's like, child, I got $1 million to make. I don't know.
It'll be just like the Eve broadcasting live from England. Yeah. But I think that would be very interesting. That or maybe not that particular pairing, but if we got like a legendary rap crew.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you, Keys. I'd lose my mind. We got those legendary rap crews because we saw how it worked with the Lox and Dipset. But if we have like collectives, like maybe even,
but Q-Tip ain't coming either. So that's the other thing.
You don't think so?
I don't think Tip would come. I would think he would be like, no. I think he would just say no. Now, Wani, you just said something that would be dope if the money was right. MC Light and Queen Latifah would go all the way off.
Absolutely. And, you know, RIP to Miss Melody. You know, it would be great to, you know, do some type of tribute to all the lady MCs that are no longer with us, including Miss Melody. But yeah, that would be really cool. Or De La Soul and A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh my, I would like literally, that would be so amazing. Their catalogs are so solid.
Very much so. It could be a nice collaboration now that De La Soul, their music is freed up.
Yep.
It would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool, but you know,
great.
We're sitting up here, you know, pontificating and, you know, making up these types of versuses in our minds. And
what y'all want to see?
Yes.
Verses y'all want to see? Y'all drop them in the chat. Like, what verses would you want to see? I was trying to think of some soul verses too. They already did the Jill and Erica, and I thought that was a good matchup. Like, I'm trying to think of some more folks. Yeah, that was really dope. Has Music Soul Child did a verses, right? Did he do one? I feel like Music needs to be in a verses with somebody. Music's catalog is really solid. I don't know who he would do it with, but I think a Music could be dope.
Yeah, you know how Music and maybe India Ari. Well, because they duet, didn't they have a duet together?
They did have a duet together. Yeah. You know, we haven't had a men and a woman like kind of thing either. What?
I just came up with one. Shantae Moore and Kenny Lattimore.
They would never. Never. Not Jack. I hate Keys, and I don't.
I'm sick of you, Keys. Because, but have you noticed? You never heard from her since, and that whole Jill versus Erica is what brought her back to life. Yeah. Maxwell and Sade. We were talking about Jaguar, right? By the way, folks. Yeah. He said Jaguar versus everybody. Anthony says Maxwell and Sade. Listen.
Wow. Wowza.
That's a lot of moving parts.
That's a lot of moving parts. Massive. I think that I would love to watch that. I would love to watch that. I know that Sade would never do it. And they ain't coming. First of all, they all live on different continents. They ain't coming. Different time zones. They ain't coming. Maxwell will be standing there and be like all four of the Sade band on like a screen.
Exactly. But I just thought about it. They do have a connection because Maxwell was on the Sweetback compilation back in the day, and Sweetback is both records and Sweetback is Sade's band.
Yep. So it's Sweetback. Yeah. So Sweetback.
You made a great point in there about Sade not only being the name of the vocalist, but the name of the band.
It's the name of the band.
Do a lot of people know that? Did y'all?
Yeah. So if y'all didn't know that, listen, y'all, and don't get it wrong. Sade is a band. It contains 4 people that includes Sade Adu. But yeah, Sade is the name of the band, and they have been together forever.
Yes.
So is it Stuart Matthewman and Andrew Hale and oh my God, third name dropping. But anyway, listen.
Let's Googles. Let's do our
Yeah, Sade is and they're a amazing band, but they also, when they were off of some Sade stuff, the band members outside of Sade formed a group called Sweetback, and they actually did 2 records. That first record is a monster.
Woo, beautiful.
It drops crazy. Maxwell's softly on that joint will change your life. Trick Daddy probably plays it when, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, you getting that EBG. Yeah, absolutely. So the members, Sade Abdul, Paul Denneman, Andrew Hale,
yep,
and Stuart
Matthewman. Yep. So I missed. Yeah. So I missed Paul. So yeah. So Sade is a group. So go and tell your friends when they're like Sade is a band, because they kept winning Grammys and people didn't understand why, and it was like because they a band. It's just that their name is Sade.
Right.
So anyway. Q points, where you learn the more you know.
Exactly. The more you grow. And so I just want to take this time again to say thank you to everyone who has been tuning into Q Points on a weekly basis and has watched us grow. We are very grateful for you guys. As you know, if you didn't know, we are now on Apple Podcasts. You can take us with you wherever you go, on your trips.
Yeah.
And I say trips because we're on the eve of another holiday weekend.
Yep.
If you are going out of town, please be safe.
Yes.
The summer's coming to an end. Can you believe it? We started the show at the top of the summer.
At the top of the summer. Yeah.
And here we are closing it out, for Labor Day weekend. And shout out to everybody that's coming to Atlanta for Pride. I will see you guys at the legendary Bulldogs. If you're going to be here in Atlanta, I'll be on the 1s and 2s at Bulldogs on Saturday from 4 to 7. Please be safe, mask up. Hopefully you're vaccinated. Just throwing it out there.
Yes.
This is going to, full disclosure, this is going to be my first gig, like a huge gig like that in a very long time. In 2 summers, actually. I have not stepped in that booth in 2 years now.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. And I had some trepidation, but the way the booth is set up with the door closes.
And there's a door up high.
And I can look down at y'all from the window. I feel a little safe doing it that way. So please, let's all keep each other safe. It's really about keeping each other safe right now, because it's a real thing out there.
Yes, and I want to add, have a great time. I also want to encourage folks. We just mentioned Apple Podcasts. Leave reviews and leave your ratings. Like, go over to Apple Podcasts, follow Q Points, tell your friends, tell your family. There are folks who aren't able to tune into this. Tell them to go and watch Q Points, or go over to Apple Podcasts and subscribe. Leave us a review, leave us a rating, tell people to do the same. That's how we grow the show, man. That's how we grow the show. And QPoints.com, become a Q Points insider, because as we build this thing, we got stuff to share with you. Look, we already added a video background. We had Kanye behind us. We're just doing stuff and bringing stuff to you.
Listen, we fancy around here, and we want to bring you with us.
Yeah.
So once again, boys and girls, what do I always say? In this life, you can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. This is Sir Daniel.
I'm J Ray, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for watching Q Points. Happy birthday to me, y'all. I'll see y'all this weekend.